Let's get some perspective now with former RNC national spokesperson Madison Gesiotto and former New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio. Thank you both for being with us. Mayor de Blasio, first to you, how do you think the Harris campaign is using these incidents and these stories to communicate their views on reproductive rights? Like, who are they trying to reach by trying to humanize the real life impacts of these restrictions?
Well, Boris, I think last night was so powerful. I was in Oakland County, Michigan at that event, sitting right near Shanette Williams, who lost her daughter, Amber. And I think that said more. That story, that painful story of what that Georgia abortion ban did and how a life was lost. A good young woman, a medical assistant, someone with an incredibly bright future, lost because doctors would not treat her. Even though her body was in crisis, her life was in danger, doctors in Georgia wouldn't treat her because of that state law standing in the way. And to see the mom and the two sisters of Amber talk about it, and then to watch the incredibly compassionate response from Vice President Harris, I think that said more than, all the TV ads and position papers in the world. It was very human and powerful. And it happened to also be taking place in one of the locations, one of the counties that's going to decide this election for this whole country. And I guarantee you there are a lot of women in Oakland County, Michigan, who were really feeling that personal story and relating to it. I think Vice President Harris is doing something we haven't seen before for reason of her life's path, her personality, her way of communicating, but also her compassion. It's coming out, and I think it's going to have a very powerful impact, particularly on women voters who have not yet made up their mind.
Madison, I wonder what you think, because we see former President Trump trying to hold on to constituencies with different views on abortion, and it may be a difference of degrees, but they're hugely important when you come to this debate. How vulnerable is he on this issue?
Well, I don't know who could potentially look at a situation like Amber's, a situation like Candy's, or anybody else out there who's been through what their families are going through right now and not have empathy and not understand how they're feeling. But at the same time, I think on the left, there's a lot of toxic empathy in which people are using these stories to, quite frankly, manipulate the views of the general public on abortion restrictions, when the very real reality in these cases and in many others is that abortion is a potentially dangerous thing to make a choice to do. And these women lost their lives as a result of that. In states like Georgia, it wasn't the abortion restrictions.
Madison, I do just want to stop you on that, because Madison, I do want to stop you on that. I understand what you're saying. This was an abortion pill, which is actually incredibly safe. There are a number of medications that also have very, if I may, that also have very.
Of the time that it's not safe, but there is side effects that are listed, and one of those is sepsis. And in these women's cases, and specifically in Amber's case, she went to the hospital experiencing sepsis. It's
but
extremely scary thing to go through.
Madison, you've read the article, right?
I'm not giving them any excuse.
But they waited for 20
hours. Of course I know the details, and they waited for 20 hours, but
Madison,
there is no evidence that this was a result
Madison,
of Georgia's
please do
law.
not misrepresent what happened. They waited to treat her.
I'm not misrepresenting anything. They waited to treat her, and that's their fault. If I was her family, I'd be suing for medical malpractice at this point. There's no excuse, because the law specifically states, if you look at what the law says in Georgia, it's the intentional killing of an unborn child. In her case, there was no unborn child to kill. She already had an abortion. She had leftover pregnancy tissue and was bleeding out and obviously infected at that point. I know what it's like to be on a medical table bleeding out. I've been in this position, not as a result of an abortion, but as a result of a miscarriage. And I, too, was delayed in receiving that care. And it was actually before Roe v. Wade was overturned or there was any of these confusions. This happened to me. Obviously, again, a miscarriage, not an abortion. But I know what it's like, and I can't imagine if my family didn't have me with them today. And so I sympathize with her family. But the reality is that the law in Georgia allowed those doctors to give her the care that she deserved. And I don't understand why they did not do that. I think it's unacceptable. And her family would be, I'm sure, grateful to have her here today if they did the right thing and gave her that DNC that she needed.
Mayor,
Brianna, that's not the whole story. Could I just jump in and just say, clearly the Georgia law, the Georgia abortion ban had a chilling effect on those medical professionals. We've been hearing this all over the country. Let's be honest about it.
I mean, they haven't
medical
said
professionals
that.
worried about potential.
You had an opportunity to speak.
I listened to you. just finishing. Medical professionals around the country have been faced with up to life in prison for providing life-saving care to women. And this is what we have come upon. We have to be honest as a country. These abortion bans have now created an impossible situation where women are dying who could be saved. And that's what, to watch that mom talk about her daughter having been lost, who could have been saved, and that she's never coming back. I mean, let's be honest about what Donald Trump unleashed with the three Supreme Court nominees that he got there, who took away Roe v. Wade, took away a woman's right to choose. This is now the result we're seeing all around the country.
Madison, you were trying to say something.
To say that that's what happened in Amber's case. I mean, and you even heard the reporter from ProPublica where this came out, saying that they also are not saying that that's evidence or anything to prove that at this point. And again, the law specifically shows that that's not the case. So the doctors making the choice to not provide her with that care is their fault. And it's something they can't fix at this point. It's absolutely horrendous what her family's going through. Again, I empathize, I sympathize with her family. I can't imagine how they feel. But at the same time, it was not any abortion restriction. And of course, again, too, a lot of people on the right or even some on the left have pushed for more restrictions or more medical oversight on abortions. A lot of people don't agree with, home mail abortion pills being delivered to your house. Many view that this should be, if something you choose to do in a state where it's legal, it should be something that's done under the care of a professional. In Amber's case, she was, under the care of a professional, and this is what happened. So we don't want to see this being done at home where people don't have that medical oversight. That can be very dangerous and result in deaths like Candy's.
What's clear from the law in Georgia is that when it comes to treatment and getting a DNC, it makes it clear about it being a spontaneous abortion, so a miscarriage from natural causes, and that very easily could have contributed to the situation, causing some confusion here. But Madison, great to have you on. Thank you for being with us. Mayor, we appreciate your time as well. Thank you.